Let me take you back, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few days ago, I was standing in an airport toilet. How delicious. And I received a message from my wife, who was standing outside of said bathroom, and she sent me a screenshot of an article that I need to show you. A feminist and progressive online publication, Mamma Mia, had published a story about Joe Rogan, our Lord and Saviour. And yes, we all know that I am the president of the Australian chapter of the Joe Rogan Dick Riders. We're all very aware of that. But I thought this particular article needed to be shared with all of you. This article hit me right in the old Joe Rogan. It was very upsetting, very, very upsetting indeed. And I was lucky enough to meet Joe last year. He's a very nice guy, and I thought I'd make this video to defend him. Because let's face it, that's what Joe needs. Me to defend him from an article from some woman who no one gives a shit about. Here's the article. Joe Rogan is ruining my marriage. Written by Anonymous. Ooh, a sneaky little tactic done by a lot of online publications when they know the article they're writing is absolute shit and they're gonna get a lot of heat for it. They don't attach a name to it because, let's face it, they're fucking scared. I'll be honest, I've read the entire article and it's less than an article and more of a long-winded text just whinging and bitching. But let's read it anyway. But before we do, this video is brought to you by Don't Miss Mate, my amazing toilet lights. Yes, this is a real product and I use it every single day. It lights up the bathroom with a motion sensor when you walk in there. Yes, in the middle of the night, you don't have to flick the light on, hurt your eyes, ruin your circadian rhythms, all that good stuff, all right? It just lights up the bowl and you don't miss. You don't miss, mate. And we have a 2-for-1 deal going right now. Buy one, get another one for free. Is that the same as a 2-for-1 deal? I don't know, but if you buy one, you get one free. Go and do it right now at don'tmissmate.com. All right, let's have a look. Princess Diana famously, why would you bring that up? Famously said, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it's a bit crowded, referring to Charles' first love affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. Okay, I don't know why you'd bring the horse that is Camilla Parker Bowles up into this conversation, but I digress. I've been feeling an affinity with the late princess. Have you been traveling in tunnels? Though the third in my marriage is an annoying male American voice who has somehow managed to insert himself into my marriage. Now, if you said an annoying female voice, you would be accused of being a misogynist, but of course we can have a crack at men because we have thicker skin and we've got things to do. And I know this lady's going to have a crack at male podcasts in this entire spiel, and I will do my best not to mention that, you know, basically female podcasts should be outlawed. I'll do my best, but there's no promises right there. Joe Rogan is often touted as the world's most popular podcast host. That may have something to do with the fact that he gets tens of millions of downloads per episode. I know you're saying, hey, apparently he's the most popular, but he definitely fucking is. Anyway, and the reason he is so popular is because of the range of guests that he has on his show, from Neil deGrasse Tyson to Dave Chappelle to Mike Tyson, a whole wide range of different people that brings different people in and they become a part of that community. It's really, really interesting. Joe can be heard in our kitchen, probably cooking elk, bathroom or backyard on loudspeaker, morning, noon and night. Hey, big fella who she's writing about, throw a pair of headphones in. How bad is that? I don't think anyone should listen to a podcast out loud. That's fucked up, all right? I'm on your wife's side. And like the uninvited guest that he is, by me anyway, he's causing tension in my home. Sounds like you should give your husband a fucking hand job and he might hang out with you. It sounds like you don't know your husband very well. Maybe he's interested in a lot of things that you just sort of pass off and don't want to talk about. Maybe you guys should have got to know each other better before you got married. I want to say I know what this lady is thinking, right? I think she believes that her opinion and the opinion of the ladies at the water cooler at her job is the correct opinion. And perhaps her husband is echoing some opinions he heard on the Rogan podcast, and now she is considering him as far right. I think that's where she's going to go with this. Before Joe Rogan arrived, my husband and I settled into a companionable acceptance of our different political views. Very loosely, I'm more liberal and he's more conservative, and I bet she thinks that he's gone far right, which is a very liberal thing to say. And strangely enough, Joe's been pretty left-wing for a very long time. It just so happens that the opinions that he had that were once left-wing are now right-wing opinions. It's very, very weird how that has completely flipped. But since Rogan appeared on the scene, I feel like my husband's taken a trip to right-wing crazy town. There we go. I fucking called it. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say that the evidence that she's about to list is complete bullshit. And that's not far right at all. So what is this evidence, you ask? He's developed a deep distrust of science and government. Okay, well, first of all, who trusts the government? That's complete lunacy. Particularly after recent years, complete lunacy. As for the distrust of science, that's a pretty broad statement. Is there a few scientific things Joe's questioning? Perhaps some scientific opinion of some particular scientists? Or is Joe questioning gravity? Is that what you're saying? Oh, and what about this? Her husband stopped taking the COVID boosters early on. What an idiot. He should get more now. And he's skeptical about certain jabs generally. Well, I can't talk about that on YouTube at all. So, moving on. He once tried to explain to me that aliens probably built the pyramids. Well, I mean, it's fun to think that. I don't know if Joe actually thinks that, but it's a fun thought, right? It's a fun thing to think that that's such a crazy thing that was built. Wouldn't it be cool if aliens did it? Relentless conspiracy theories are exhausting and can leave you feel like you've landed in La La Land. Yeah, fair. Anyone who lists everything as a conspiracy theory is fucking a lot. It's a lot to deal with. But I don't think that's Rogan. I don't think that's Rogan at all. Someone who does live in the conspiracy world is Alex Jones. But the thing about Alex Jones is sometimes he's right. He has been right in the past. So yeah, he says a lot of crazy shit, but some of it's right. So to write everything off that is a conspiracy is also just as silly as, believing every conspiracy. Like the time Rogan said that school kids were identifying as cats and asking for kitty litter in bathrooms. I've been hearing that for a long time too. Even a lady I was speaking to at the shop, she swore that this was true. She said that her daughter told her that they were putting kitty litter trays into the school bathroom because of people who identified as furries. Probably bullshit, but people are saying that. And this has nothing to do with trans people. This is the theory and furry community. And if I know the furry community, they would do that shit. And if you want to know anything about furries and the ridiculous conspiracies surrounding kitty litters and bathrooms, check out Mamma Mia's own article on this. I wonder why people think that this is a real thing. My husband will argue that I can't criticize Rogan because I don't listen to him, which is true. Well, you probably shouldn't criticize someone if you don't listen to what they've had to say. I find that the people that don't like Rogan are the same people that don't like Elon Musk. They don't like them because the people at their workplace or whatever echo chamber they're in don't like them for the same reason. No one really has a reason. They just go, no, I don't like that person. They're far right, or they did this, or they fuck, just for bullshit reasons. And that is the honest truth. I think it's actually the same with Donald Trump to an extent. Most people who don't like him have no reason. And you know what? This is all a part of cancel culture. If you are a part of that particular culture, you have to, if you hear that someone's a bad person, you have to write everything off just because one person has told you that they're a bad person. Yeah, and if you listen to the mainstream narrative on any of these people, you will think they're far-right lunatics without listening to a single thing that any of them have said or done. The arguments I hear via our third wheel, aka Joe Rogan, come with a basic lack of empathy, do they? Okay. It's all political correctness gone wrong and the world has gone mad. I mean, there is a lot of that going on. Would you not agree? There is a lot of it. All that bluster means that there's no room for the reason political correctness became a movement in the first place. That is to protect the vulnerable and to take care, not to hurt others. How can that be a bad thing? How does that threaten anyone? Yeah, well, if you think about it in real simple terms, it doesn't threaten anyone at all. But when you think about it in the ridiculous terms that we have to live with every single day, it's fucking bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. Like, do we really want to live in a world where you're constantly terrified and you're walking around on eggshells because you don't want to lose your job or you don't want to get banned off whatever social media website you enjoy because people are fucking weak as fuck? That's political correctness gone too far. All right? Being nice is just being nice. It shouldn't be enforced. I think that's what we're all saying. My husband will often get angry about what he calls woke activists and how they are going too far. Fucking wait till you hear about my YouTube channel. When he says the word feminist, he reduces it to a dirty word. I can't imagine why. And boy, does he get angry about trans activists, something Rogan has covered on his show. He will get fired up about children using puberty blockers. Wow, that's so weird that your husband would be fired up about that. And that pronouns should be he if you have a penis and she if you have a vagina. Wow, Joe Rogan sounds like a fucking Nazi, doesn't he? I won't go into all the things that are wrong and dangerous in the above paragraph, but my main question is, why do you care so much? Let me ask you a question, lady. Do you care if some strangers beat up their child? Let me guess. You do? Of course you do. It's the same reason that people have a bit of an issue if you shoot a child up with hormones that they do not need. I know my husband is not a bigot. If a child asks him to use a certain pronoun, he absolutely would without a fuss. And here's the crazy thing. So would Rogan, so would I, so would most people. It's called being nice, but it shouldn't be forced. And like, I'm fine with he and she pronouns, and it's the they thems that everyone has an issue with. You're not a them. Shut up. What has this harlot Rogan done to my kind, loving husband? I tell you what he's done. He's turned him from your little bitch into a man. That's what he's fucking done. Feminist writer Caitlin Moran provides some insight. She talks about young boys being drawn to influencers like Andrew Tate. Okay, Andrew Tate and Rogan are not the fucking same. They're in different solar systems. Because they are floundering for a sense of male identity in the post-Me Too era. What? Because we can't grab random women on the ass anymore. We're lost? The fuck? I think Joe Rogan belongs a similar sense of belonging to men too. Maybe that's a fair point, but is that a bad thing? I don't think so at all. I think saying that Joe Rogan is similar to Andrew Tate is like saying that Joe Biden is similar to JFK. Sure, they do the same job, but that's where it ends. His show is a safe place where men are told that all that vitriol about toxic masculinity is just those woke folk going bananas. In many parts, that's true. They are going bananas. There's nothing wrong with masculinity. What's wrong is toxic people. And toxic people can be of any gender, all 40,000 of them. After reading this article, I think this to myself. Has she ever listened to dudes talk? She's married some guy without even knowing who he is. And this whole attitude from real feminist progressive thinkers towards people like Rogan is just evidence that they've never listened to a single thing that he or anyone like him has ever said. In closing, here's a message to that guy, whoever he happens to be. Fucking divorce her now. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Be extinct. Tout au revoir. Bye-bye.